Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki, Shri Radha Madhava ki. Jai Vishnu Bhadra, Hamsa Parivraja Kacharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhajanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, entitled Dhruva Maharaj Leaves Home, text number 45. Stand, hopefully. Prasadam bimukam shashvat. Prasadam bimukam shashvat. Prasanam vadanekshanam. Prasana vadanekshanam. Sunasam subruvam charu. Sunasam subruvam charu. Kapolam surasundaram. Kapolam surasundaram. Prasada bimukam shashvat. Prasana vadanekshanam. Sunasam subruvam charu. Kapolam surasundaram. Prasada bimukam shashvat. Vadanekshanam. Padanaikshana. Sadabhimukam Sashvat Padakamala Suprabham Charu Surasundaram Sadabhimukam Sashvat Sanapadanikshanam Sunasam Suprabham Charu Kapola Surasundaram. Prasada Bhimukam, always prepared to offer causeless mercy. Shashvat, always. Prasanna, pleasing. Vadana, mouth. Ikshanam, vision. Sunasam, very nicely constructed nose. Subruvam, very nicely decorated eyebrows. Charu, beautiful. Kapolam, forehead. Sura, the demigods. Sundaram, good looking. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Śrīla Bhācharana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The form of the Lord is described herein. The Lord's face is perpetually very beautiful and pleasing in attitude. To the devotees who see Him, He appears never to be displeased, and He is always prepared to award benedictions to them. His eyes, His nicely decorated eyebrows, His raised nose, and His broad forehead are all very beautiful. He is more beautiful than all the demigods. Purport. This verse clearly explains how one has to meditate on the form of the Lord. Impersonal meditation is a bogus invention of modern days. In none of the Vedic literature is impersonal meditation recommended. In Bhagavad Gita, when meditation is recommended, the word matpara, which means pertaining to me, is used. Any Vishnu form pertains to Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna is the original Vishnu form. Sometimes someone tries to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman, which is described in the Bhagavad Gita as avyakta, meaning unmanifest or impersonal. But it is remarked by the Lord Himself that those who are attached to this impersonal feature of the Lord suffer a very troublesome task, because no one can concentrate on the impersonal feature. One has to concentrate on the form of the Lord, which is described here in connection with Dhruva Maharaj's meditation. As will be apparent from later descriptions, Dhruva Maharaj perfected this kind of meditation and his yoga was successful. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Yaranjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So before I would like to speak, I would like to ask for blessings of all the senior devotees. So many of you have gathered. You have practiced devotional service long before I was even born. So please, give me your blessing so that I can say something that would please all of you and obviously please be pleasing to Srila Prabhupada and Radha Govinda. In the previous verses, we have been observing or following how Srila Narada Muni instructed this 5-year-old boy, Dhruva Maharaj, how to perform this Ashtanga Yoga. And we can see that this whole process was more or less a mechanical process that he has described, how to sit, how to breathe, and so on, and how to take baths 3 times a day. But here we see that Narada Muni, after summarizing in the previous verse, again, the whole process, here now he starts to describe what is actually the essence of this whole yoga process, what actually he has to focus on with that focus that he achieves by this mechanical process of the body, of trying to control the mind with certain sitting postures and with certain cleanliness that he achieves, with certain breathing processes that then he achieves the equilibrium of the mind. What is actually the thing that he has to focus on that he will achieve his desired goal? And we obviously see that this is that he has to focus on worshiping the form of the Lord. And now he is describing how the Lord actually looks like. And obviously, we cannot on our own find out how the Lord looks like. Always throughout Śrimad Bhāgavatam, we see that it is always through the spiritual master that it is revealed how the form of the Lord looks like. Even the author himself, Srila Vyasadeva, he needed guidance from Narada Muni. I mean, Narada Muni is one of the most prominent characters in the Śrimad Bhāgavatam. He always comes at the exact moment when he's needed. And he, as you would say in the, I don't know if that is slang but in the sport world you would say he comes in clutch, you know. At the moment where it's the most, where he's the most needed, he comes in and he just opens up a whole different horizon to his disciples. So we know, as Natabar Prabhu explained on his class on last Friday, I think, we know that Śrimad Bhāgavatam itself is the form of the Lord, and how different cantos gradually progress from his lotus feet all the way up to his beautiful smiling face, which is the 10th canto. So we see that Narada Muni, or the spiritual master, is the one who gives us the understanding about how the Supreme Lord looks like. And of course, we might say, but I never met Narada Muni, how I will get this description? Well, first of all, you met Narada Muni in the Śrimad Bhāgavatam, but second of all, we are in the disciplic succession that comes from Narada Muni, and we have been given this most intimate worship by one of his most intimate associates, Srila Prabhupada. He has brought this form of Krishna. I mean, just look at Radha Govinda, they're so beautiful on the altar. He has brought this form of Krishna for us to be fully free from anxiety as to how Krishna looks like. When they asked Srila Prabhupada if the pictures in the illustrations of Krishna if they look like Krishna, Prabhupada said, well, it's close enough that when you see Krishna, you'll recognize him. So, yeah, we can see Krishna every day. But how is it that we look at Krishna every day and we don't feel anything? Sometimes my spiritual master, His Holiness Kadambakana Swami, gave this funny analogy or sort of observation that sometimes, we stand in front of the deity for darshan, and it's Govinda Maripurusham, what will be for breakfast today, We don't really put our focus towards the deity or towards the holy name or anything of that. Because, well, one thing obviously is because of the offenses, but our mind is also so weak and so flickering that we can't really fully focus on anything for a very long time. I mean, the sages in Naimisharanya, they raised up this question, this problem that now in Kali Yuga, everybody is lazy, everybody is disturbed. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hubadrita. Everybody is in this such unfortunate state of being that is basically impossible for them to make any spiritual progress in this age. Everything is so many disturbances. I mean, you just step out on the street from this temple and immediately, the smell of weed comes into your nose, and so much secondhand smoking. Disturbance on every step, especially in New York, city that never sleeps, always lights shining straight onto your head while you try to rest. So always something, there's, even if you try to, okay, I will go to sleep early today, well, good luck. Somebody will come to your room and start screaming something, But anyway, and that is on top of the fact that our mind is already disturbed anyway. We see in the Bhagavad Gita, after Krishna describes this whole yoga process to Arjuna, Arjuna says, that this process seems to me very much impractical, because chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramata balavadridam. What is the third line. Anyway, tasyaham yam mam vayor suduskaram. Yes. So it's more difficult for me to control my mind, more difficult than controlling the wind, because the mind is always flickering and so obstinate. Prabhupada translates. He's very stubborn, this mind. It's very difficult to put him on, focus him on this one thing and just, concentrate for a very long time. And, we know Arjuna, he has displayed incredible focus before, like just when they were training with Dronacharya, he was the only one who could see only the eye of the bird. That is incredible focus. If we compare our focus or ability to concentrate our mind compared to Arjuna's ability to concentrate his mind, we are like an ant compared to a giant, We have no ability to concentrate our mind. I mean, at least I have no ability compared to Arjuna. So even if Arjuna says that it is more difficult for him to control the mind than it is to control the wind, then what is our position? And Arjuna was standing right in front of Krishna. Krishna was right there, guiding him and all that. Obviously, we know that Arjuna had to play this role so that Krishna could reveal this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. So, yes, our minds are flickering, our bodies are weak in this age. We cannot practice any sort of austerity, even if we think we are doing something great. In grand scheme of things, if we actually look like what Krishna would consider as an austerity, our minute efforts are not very great if we just put our faith that we will achieve the attention of Krishna by our austerity. There is a nice story, obviously, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how there was this one brahmachari that really wanted to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance. And so he performed many austerities. He was drinking only milk. He was very self-controlled and all that. So after a while, after doing all that austerity, he approached Srivas Thakur and he said, please, let me enter the house when you do your kirtan and let me see Mahaprabhu dance. And Srivas Thakur, he was very hesitant because he knew the rules that, only those with pure love of Godhead could enter that house, and anybody else would just be causing great disturbance. So, but of course, Srivas Thakur is very soft-hearted. So he said, all right. Eventually, after, this brahmachari was pushing so hard, he said, all right, okay, but you have to hide. So he hid in a box. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the associates came and they started to dance. But very soon, Mahaprabhu stopped and said, well, I don't feel the normal ecstasy that usually comes when I perform kirtan. Is there anyone in this house that should not be here? So then Srivas Thakur said, yeah, actually, there is this one brahmachari, but he is very pure, he has been a brahmachari his whole life, he's performed many, pious activities, and he only drinks milk, as if that is such a big deal for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then Mahaprabhu said that he should go out, he has no place to be here in this kirtan. And he said, it is not by drinking milk that you can attain my mercy or attain this, my association. It is not by drinking milk and all sorts of other external austerities. So then obviously this brahmachari, he had to leave, but he was very ecstatic that at least for a moment he could see Mahaprabhu dance, at least for a moment. And he was really in ecstasy. And if I remember correctly, then Mahaprabhu very much appreciated that even though he was sent out, that he was still so grateful. So he called him back, and then he could participate in the kirtan. That is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we are obviously all taking full advantage of it now. I mean, hopefully. And yes, that is the point, that we have to fully take advantage of this mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then we hear all this, oh, mercy, 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 right? Mercy is showering down more than ever before. You know, we don't need to perform Ashtanga Yoga. We don't need to perform this. We don't need to perform that. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarvapapya Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. That abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. But then here comes our tricky mind again. Oh, so we can abandon all varieties of religion and Krishna will protect us anyway. So I can perform any sorts of sinful activities and I should not fear. But this is obviously the seventh offense to the holy name, to perform sinful activities on the strength of the chanting of the holy name. And, you know, then the mind will trick us, again, but you see, like Harinamananda had this verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which described how the gopis, they left everything and all their obligations and everything, and they just ran towards Krishna to please Krishna. And you see, like, just be like that, just, spontaneously. It's just, that's the essence. So why not just practice the essence? Just, don't practice anything external. Just run towards Krishna. Well, my dear mind, your aim is not to satisfy Krishna, but your aim is that Krishna will satisfy you. And that is not what is meant by this surrender to Krishna. Surrender to Krishna obviously means that you follow the instructions of your spiritual master. Because actually, at least speaking for myself, I don't know Krishna. We don't know Krishna. How can we know Krishna? Krishna is inconceivable. Krishna, you cannot understand Krishna. Even if you see Krishna on the altar, it is only by the mercy of the spiritual master, as I said before. So any sort of contact that we have with Krishna is through the spiritual master. So now if we try to artificially just fully surrender to Krishna and just forget about all the instructions that we have received from the previous acharyas and from our spiritual master, then what kind of surrender is that? That is just another form of sense gratification. We just speculated something and think that now we will attain unlimited happiness if we just try to, on the outside, surrender to Krishna and just sort of cut corners everywhere. And then obviously there is this very nice verse that comes into play that Srila Rupa Goswami cites in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3 to 25. And it is said, Kamadiram katina katida palitaduni deshas tesham jatamayina karuna natra panopashanti usrijatan atayadupate samarpatam labdabudis tam ayata sharanam abhyam mamniyuk shavatam dasye. And translation is, O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown me any mercy. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up. O my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So yeah, we see that all these desires, they are mercilessly pushing us around, and we think, oh, if I just satisfy this desire and that desire, maybe I'll feel some relief. But as we know from Bhagavad Gita, that these lusty desires are like fire that burn even stronger if you try to satisfy them. Dushpurena nalena cha. The more you throw, sort of thinking you're satisfying the desire, the more you throw fuel on this fire, and the fire just burns stronger and stronger and stronger. And well, there's also the solution given in this verse that by the strength of the transcendental knowledge, we can finally sort of fight with these desires that mercilessly push us around everywhere. And obviously, how do we get this spiritual knowledge is by Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The spiritual master, he opens our darkened eyes, and he, with the torchlight of the transcendental knowledge, then we have only a little chance to surrender to Krishna, to actually render some service to Krishna. And then we can ask Krishna to help us to overcome this sort of troubling desires. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Betam Tarantite. That this divine energy of mine, external energy, is very difficult to overcome. But someone who surrenders fully unto him, and it all of a sudden becomes very easy. The ocean of material nations is described shrinks to the size of to a puddle, the size of a hoof print of a calf. And then we can very easily, even a baby can jump over such a puddle, size of a hoof print of a calf. It's very small. Yes. So here we see that, yes, Narada Muni, he's very kind towards Dhruva Maharaj. And he gives him this vision as to how the Lord looks like and how to worship him. And by this, then we see that Dhruva Maharaj, he fully captured the essence of the instructions of Narada Muni, even though he was just a 5-year-old boy. And he fully just followed the order of his spiritual master to the T, as it is said. And we see that, in half a year, he basically started to suffocate the whole universe. And with his toe on his foot, toe is obviously on the foot. So with his toe, he was pushing the whole earth down. He became so heavy, and it is explained because he has captured Krishna in his heart. That's why he was basically controlling the whole universe. Excuse me. And that is the power of, just following the instructions of the spiritual master. That is when we achieve all success in any of our pursuits. But we just have to stop resisting it. We just have to stop fighting it. And obviously, we need to seek the association of like-minded devotees who are also very much enthusiastic to follow these orders that we have received from our Guru Parampara all the way from Narada Muni and Brahma, obviously. And, we see that Narada Muni, not only that he focused just on Dhruva Maharaj, but his agenda, as we see later on, was to deliver his whole, every single one of his descendants as well. And he was very much successful in doing that. I mean, he saved the Prachetas, he saved King Prachinabarhishan, but then he also was unsuccessful for the first time with Daksha, who instead of, Narada Muni sometimes does some things that some people don't appreciate. But I mean, he delivered, 20,000 of his sons altogether. And Daksha didn't appreciate it at all. So instead of himself perfecting his own life, he cursed Narada Muni. And that was again one of the mistakes. But why I'm saying this story is because that if you gain the favor of a pure devotee like this, then, this pure devotee, he will just give all his mercy freely, even to your family members and everyone around you that is connected to you. If somehow or other, he puts a mark on you, okay, I want to deliver this person, then he will not rest until everyone around you are also delivered. And Srila Prabhupada has put such a mark on each and every one of our backs. So we just need to stop resisting the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all of the Prabhupada's men that try to spread this movement all around the world. And in this way, please Srila Prabhupada. And then we will also be a part of the team, and we will be deployed to save other conditioned living entities, even though we will still be conditioned, but at least we'll be armed by the knowledge and by the mercy given by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, thank you very much. I hope this was all right. And if any of you senior devotees have some comments, please say yes, Prabhu. Mike is coming.
talked about Dhruva Maharaj capturing Krishna in his heart by following the orders of the spiritual master, and how that created just so much weight that he could push down the earth with his toe. I just found that really, really beautiful and fascinating. And I was wondering if you could just elaborate a little bit more on this idea of capturing Krishna in our heart, and maybe other expressions of that, other implications.
Well, I mean, this pushing down of the earth and suffocating the whole universe is just a minute side effect of capturing Krishna in his heart. That is a very insignificant achievement, actually, if you look at the grand scheme of things, because if you think about it, Mahavishnu is lying down, and from in his yoga nidra, all the universes are coming out as he breathes in and out, and from his pores, there's like very small, and this each and every one of those bubbles coming out of his pores is one universe. So, yes, Archita Prabhu, he needs the mic, give him the mic. So anyway, this is, if you capture Krishna, that is, everybody can. Yes.
Thank you for struggling through your illness and deciding to give class anyway. Very well worth it. Thank you very much. Regarding that question about capturing Krishna in the heart, he's already there. That's our whole process. Chaito Dharpa the marginal. Krishna is already there. We're actually, instead of trying to capture him, we're trying to run away from him.
Yeah, that's true.
So Prabhupada said, like as you said, stop resisting. That very nice phrase. Thank you for that. We should stop resisting and just get on with the cleansing process. And then Krishna will reveal himself because he's already there.
Yes.
Where can he go anyway where he's not? He's everywhere.
Yes.
So resistance is futile, as we say. We have that phrase in English. Resistance is futile. You cannot resist because whatever you're chasing after in your attempt to run away from Krishna is also Krishna.
Yeah.
You're just not realizing it. So I like that phrase. Stop resisting and just get on with the cleaning process and you will see Krishna. Kalena nati dirgena Bhagavan Vishati. There's that verse in the second canto. Shrimbatam Sharaya Nitya Grinatascha Chatesitam. Kalena naati dirgena Bhagavan. That if you just go on hearing Shrimbatam Sharaya Krishna with faith about Krishna, then Kalena naati dirgena. Within a very short time, Bhagavan, he will reveal himself in the heart.
Yes. Yes, Janmashtami. Oh, someone.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasaite kathitaya artha prakasante mahatmana. By the causeless mercy of Guru and Krishna, not only the Vedic literatures reveal to us, but also any project which is given to us or anything we want to do, that is just also by the causeless mercy of Guru and Krishna, that reveals to us. I mean, that impossible thing that it will reveal to us. For example, I put myself in the position. I was here, and Sridhar Maharaj used to be the co-GBC, and Gopaksh Maharaj and Bhima Prabhu, they ganged me up and they took me just to BVT, Bombay, to become the manager. I didn't ABCD of printing, nothing, zero. I said, by my Guru Maharaj's mercy, I'm preaching here. What am I going to just do? There are millions of people are there, just why can't an intelligent person can take over? No, we found one person, that is you have to come with us. like gang up and they took me. However, when I went, my predecessor he left his body now. That was Mahamantra Das Brahmachari who became Bhakti Vaidurya Swami, something like that in Vrindavan. I met him. And he just 2 days, he taught me, you do this, you do that. And I was off. What am I going to do?
Mic is cut off now.
Day and night I sat and just started reading and just practical things. I saw everything in due course of time, just learn every little thing. And my experience it reveals by the causeless mercy of Guru and Krishna.
Haribo. Yes, Janmashtami Prabhu. Thank you, Narada Rishi. Go ahead.
So there's quite a difference in the quality of, actually seeing Krishna in the deity according to the level of surrender one has. So one may just see, oh, that's a really beautiful form, or one can actually see, oh, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and just feel so much ecstasy. Is that correct?
Thank you for that. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so
Hare
much for the
Krishna.
class. It was very enlightening. Covered so many aspects of a devotee's life. You mentioned the power of approaching a spiritual master,
Yes.
and how powerful it is to follow the instructions of a spiritual master.
Yes.
I was wondering what was wrong with Duryodhan, because he also tried to approach Adi Guru, Balaram, but that did not benefit him in any way.
Well, Duryodhana, he was very much envious of the devotees of Krishna. If you envy the devotees, then how can you follow any instructions that your guru gives you? Because the devotees of Krishna, they are more dear to Krishna than his own life. And, Adi Guru or Balaram, his only aim is to just assist Krishna in any sort of activity. I mean, as we saw with Nityananda Prabhu, he just, went to every house and every person in Navadvip, and he rolled on the ground if they didn't want to accept chanting of the holy name, with the straw between his teeth. I mean, the maintainer and the creator of the spiritual and material universes is rolling in the dust in front of your feet, begging you to take this holy name. And why did he do that? It was because that was the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Balaram is not sort of, independently acting from Krishna, and now because Duryodhana has surrendered to him, he will achieve all the desired success, even if he offends the whole world of Vaishnavas, It doesn't work like that. I don't, maybe externally sort of Duryodhana had favor of Balaram, but I'm not sure if Balaram was actually pleased with Duryodhana anyway. I mean, how could he be if he was so displeasing to Krishna? Then you cannot get the mercy of the Guru. At least that is my thought on that. I don't know if there is anything more you would like to add. Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna Kripa Prabhu.
Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
I lost my. One thing regarding the Balaram and the Duryodhan, there's a Leela where in the during the battle of the Bhima and Duryodhan are having a personal duel, and Balaram, out of compassion for both of them, suggests that they were equally matched and their fight is a waste of time and therefore they should give it up. And they both ignored him, so it wasn't that Duryodhan was completely submissive to all the recommendations of Lord Balaram. We were talking before about the idea about the Lord being in the heart and experiencing the Lord in the heart. There's this, that reminded me of this amazing statement by Bilva Mangala Thakur, which is mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion under Pride and Ecstatic Love. Bilva Mangala Thakur said, "My dear Krishna, you are leaving me, forcibly getting out of my clutches, but I shall be impressed by your strength only when you can go forcibly from the core of my heart." He's infallibly in the core of our heart. Bilva Mangala Thakur is so enthusiastic, he's challenging him to leave somehow or other.
Yeah. It's impossible for Krishna to leave the heart of his devotee. It's purchased by. That's why Krishna doesn't want to give his devotional service so easily. We have the back door though, so somehow or other. But we can't, exploit this for our own selfish interests. Then that back door is firmly shut. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari.